So let's get straight to it then and have a look at the April updates for this month. So I wanted to share, first of all, a recent report that's come out around engagement rates. That's a question that we get asked a lot of, is my engagement rate any good? Is it average? Am I seeing good engagement on this particular platform? So we'll take a look at those. One of the other questions I get asked all the time is, when is the best time to post in social media? And that has changed a lot over the years. So let's look at a recent study that has come out from Sprout Social. LinkedIn seems to be the platform of the moment. So I wanted to share a bit more around the latest video updates and tips that they are sharing too. Instagram has had some big announcements this week. We've got 2 new apps and features to talk about. Of course, their Edits app, which is their new video editing tool, perhaps a challenger to CapCut, and a new feature called Blend, which is coming out for DMs, which I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about in a few moments. Canva had a huge conference last week. I don't know if anyone was watching it live, but they did broadcast it live on YouTube. And in that conference, they shared some really great updates. So some new features that all social media managers definitely need to know about going on there over on Canva. We'll be discussing a couple of new meta ads, pieces of news, so announcements and tests coming out. Of course, we couldn't go without talking about the new ChatGPT image creator tool, and I'm sure you're all aware of some of the trends that have been going around regarding that. Bluesky, which is definitely an app that a couple of our clients are considering at the moment. They have a few big features that have come out in the last week or so. WhatsApp has a couple of new business tools as well. And then I wanted to also share a really interesting study that has come out around consumer expectations of brands. So things like response rates and why consumers are following brands in 2025. So we will dive into that study a little bit later on. So the latest social media engagement rates for 2025 have just been shared in a report which was put together by Buffer. Buffer analysed millions of posts across LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, X, Threads, and Pinterest. They really did cover all of the major players. And they found that LinkedIn currently has the highest average engagement rate. At Buffer, they calculate engagement rate using the following formula, which is total interactions divided by total impressions times 100 gives you the engagement rate. So I think that's really interesting that they are specifically using the calculation that involves impressions rather than followers or reach. So it basically means how many people interacted with your post of all of the potential views that that post has had. So that's a really good way to measure engagement rate, because it gives you a very accurate view of the trends that are happening on each platform. It enables you to really understand how engagement rate is evolving on your platform. And something else to bear in mind as well is that there are a lot of reasons why engagement rates are kind of changing on the platforms. You'll notice that Instagram here actually has the lowest engagement rate of all of the posts that they analysed, 1.16% here. And we think that that is really behind this move towards more private interactions. So a lot of stuff is happening in DMs, and a lot of stuff is happening with saves as well. So shares and saves, 2 of the most important metrics on Instagram. And of course, those are ones that cannot be publicly analysed. So I think that really is telling for this move to more private conversation happening on Instagram. Let's delve a little bit deeper into these engagement rates and how they've changed over time. So you can see LinkedIn has increased their engagement rate from January 2024 to January 2025. So skipping up to 8%. And that's definitely telling amongst lots of the stories I'm hearing from social media managers at the moment. And if you're not really kind of thinking about your company page and overall LinkedIn strategy, including the strategy of your employees, then you're massively missing out on engagement right now, because LinkedIn does certainly seem like the platform to be on right now. Instagram, you can see here, it has massively decreased over the last year, but that doesn't mean that people are using it less. They are using it differently. Facebook managed to stay relatively stable, you can see there, which is interesting. And Facebook are making a real play to try and attract more young people back to the platform again. YouTube Shorts. So interesting that they decided to look at YouTube Shorts here, but that is increasing up to 4.71%. That's something that we're seeing as well with some of our tests for our clients, taking some of our longer form video and editing it into shorts is definitely helping overall engagement rates for YouTube. TikTok, just a slight dip there, which could be due to some of the factors around this potential US ban that maybe happened back in January of this year, but is currently not looking like it's going to happen. And then Threads, an ever so slight decrease there. You know, maybe people are sort of a bit over the hype, although Threads is kind of consistently growing over time. And then X, as we'd expect, we have seen a bit of a dip there, which could be down to people just using the platform less and less, or it could be people leaving the platform altogether. One of the questions that I get asked the most is, when is the best time to post in 2025? Now, this does come with a caveat, of course. The social media algorithms are not showing us the most up-to-date content when we log in. And you can see that by the timestamps. So we all know now that it is an algorithm-based news feed that we tend to see, and that's the same in stories as well. We are not seeing content in real time. So when you scroll through or swipe through your feeds, you'll be able to see a really big variety in terms of when content was published. Sometimes you'll see something that's maybe like an hour old, followed by something that's like 3 days old. And then you might see something that was posted like 20 minutes ago. So it is this complete mixture. And because of that, it's less important to focus on posting times. However, it can still help your overall strategy to really think about when your audience is most likely to be online. So let's have a quick look at it. So you can see here, best time to post, and this is adapted from a Sprout Social study, which analysed nearly 2.5 billion engagements across 600,000 social profiles, including Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and YouTube. And they found that the best times to post are 10 till 1 p.m. on a Monday, same on a Tuesday, 10 till 4 on a Wednesday, 10 till 1 on a Thursday, and 9 till 11 on a Friday. They found the best day to post was on a Wednesday, and the worst day to post was on a Sunday. So really interesting, because traditionally we do kind of think, oh well, most people are online in the evenings, so maybe posting in the evenings or sort of 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon is a really good time to post. But actually, you can see here that it's during actually the working day, the traditional working day, I should say. Sometimes going up to 4 o'clock as per on a Wednesday, but it really does avoid the whole evening section. And that's what surprised me the most. When we have a look at the charts, which Sprout Social shared, you can see that it was really kind of mornings peaking on Facebook. And on Instagram, slightly later, but still kind of 10 till 3 on those Monday to Thursday days. So really interesting. I mean, maybe it's because the evenings is so competitive now. Could be something to consider. And this is, of course, looking if we have a quick look here, you can see that my colleague Sarah will be sharing the report as well if you're interested in finding out a little bit more information. I believe this is in universal time, but that is something that we definitely just need to verify. And I think Sarah can have a quick look at that for you in the chat there. I can see the question about that. So one of the things I would bear in mind is, first of all, your target audience. So who are you targeting when it comes to your social media posts? Because obviously, if you're looking for specific time zones, if you're looking to target American audiences, for example, then you do need to make sure that your posts are being published during those hours as well. It's also good not to stick to the same time every week, and actually to mix up your strategy here, to test out and try different times. I certainly find that on certain platforms, there's specific times as well. So personally, I find posting on LinkedIn sort of on that commute to work time, sort of 8 till 9 in the morning, can be really effective, because obviously a lot of people are checking LinkedIn first thing in the morning as well. So the key thing here is to mix it up. Don't get stuck in a rut of posting at the same time every day as well. And also to really consider your target audience and when they are most likely to be on social, to be scrolling, and to be open to receiving content from you. Okay, so let's move on to the LinkedIn section of today's update. Of course, there's so much going on with LinkedIn, as usual, with some new video updates and some latest tips that they have been sharing as well. So this is an interesting study which incorporates a huge amount of data, again, looking at over 500,000 LinkedIn posts and over 47,000 LinkedIn pages. This study was looking at 2024 data versus 2025 and how LinkedIn has changed over that year. And it was put together by the company Metricool. Now, the first thing that strikes me is that huge bar of 159% increase. And this is looking at average clicks. So we saw that engagement levels have increased on LinkedIn, and specifically looking at clicks, people are clicking on more content on LinkedIn. Also, video posting is up. That's the first bar on the chart here, indicated by the purple color. So video posting has increased by 13.77%. Also, impressions are up. So if you look at the light blue bar, which is towards the right of the report, 73% looking at average impressions. So your content is able to get far more views, far more interactions, which is the green bar, 86% increase in interactions, and generally more clicks than ever before. Polls saw an increase. So you can see, I'm not sure if it's indicated in the graph here, but in the report, they found that poll posts saw a 206% reach growth, but remain underused by brands. So if you haven't tried a poll for a while, it's worth giving it a go, because they are getting more interactions than ever before and more reach as well. And generally, engagement levels are rising, with post clicks up 31% across company pages, according to this study. So again, more data that is showing us that posting on LinkedIn is a really smart part of a social media strategy for 2025. We have seen a new mini site launch from LinkedIn. So a little bit like how Meta and TikTok both have this kind of creator tools section, LinkedIn has now launched their creator tools microsite. Here you can see that the mini site which is called Create on LinkedIn, which is sharing a range of posting tips, some best practice examples, information on dimensions, information on caption lengths. So they've really kind of pulled together a lot of questions that they get from their community, as well as links to some of their LinkedIn learning courses, which are their online courses available for anyone who's a premium member of LinkedIn to see. So do check out this microsite. We're going to share the link to it in just a moment in the chat. So do keep an eye out for that. And on there, you'll be able to find some of the best practices around things like dimensions, length, how best to use features like newsletters and polls. So it's a really valuable resource and definitely worth having a quick look at if you are looking to build your LinkedIn presence this year. The site also has some specific areas around video. So the video section covers things like ideal length, which they're saying 60 to 90 seconds for high impact content. Also, 85% of videos are watched on mute on LinkedIn, which is higher than what's on Meta. Meta is about 60%. So 85% watched on mute. So you definitely do need to have captions, subtitles on your videos. You can use the LinkedIn ones, or better still, add in your own on your editing tool like CapCut or Veed. Prioritize strong visuals and clear audio to build trust with your audience as well. And there's more information in there around dimensions as well, with vertical video, of course, being a really important dimension to try, given that the new video player does prioritize vertical content. So we've got some specs in this screen grab, but you can find more in the report. You can upload content up to 15 minutes long on LinkedIn, which obviously feels very, very long. But as we saw in the advice shared, no more than kind of 60 seconds is really required from users on LinkedIn. There is a new feature coming out on LinkedIn as well, which is where videos are now being highlighted as trends. So if something is kind of trending, they will actually begin to label that. And you can see here in the left-hand side example, this kind of selection of videos called A Day in the Life is a new category that is being tested at the moment on LinkedIn. So it looks like LinkedIn are beginning to categorize videos, which we mentioned on last month's update. And now they are labeling which ones are trending as well. So you can see that some of the categories that we've spotted so far include industry news, job and career tips, workplace stories, day in the life as well. So keep an eye out for how that's evolving. There's quite a lot of change going on with the LinkedIn video player at the moment. The team at Avocado Social, we've all lost our video tab on the LinkedIn app at the moment, which is strange because it was there, a few months ago. And we can no longer kind of scroll through video the way in which we used to. So it definitely looks like they are carrying out different tests in different regions. I looked this up for a client recently and found that it is definitely a test. This video trends test, which you can see on the screen now, is something that is US specific, but if it goes well, we'd imagine that it will begin to roll out to other regions as well. So lots of testing going on with LinkedIn video. In terms of what makes a good video, we would recommend taking a look at Adobe at the moment, who are publishing some fantastic vertical videos. This was a video which they shared at their recent Adobe Summit, where they had a presenter, a very engaging presenter to the video, and who was doing vox pops, interviewing people in and around the summit. So let's take a quick look at that.
We're here at Adobe Summit to get hot takes on the future of marketing from the best in the biz. They probably all given elevator pitches, but can they deliver gold from the top of the Venetian escalator to the bottom? Let's find out. And you got a hot drink, this better be hot. So what is your take on agentic AI?
I'm super pumped and scared at the same time.
Agentic unlocks that next layer of decision-making capabilities.
I love the fact that you can streamline all of these tasks and free yourself up to focus on the more important things.
If you were to have an
Okay, so something a bit different to what you normally see on LinkedIn. Fast edits, we've got background music, we've got text appearing on screen in different sizes as well, emojis on screen, split screen. So at one point they split the screen into 3 different sections, which all made it incredibly engaging and very high energy as well. They've also been working with a lot of influencers recently, and this is a trend that's blowing up on LinkedIn at the moment, running partnerships with others. So this was an influencer who's a global speaker who speaks on AI and video content. And he did a video recently about some of the new AI features, which of course was an influencer sponsored post.
I just turned Montreal's winter into a Caribbean summer using AI. Partnering with Adobe, I just used Firefly's AI tools to turn this view into this. Here's how I did it. First, I went on the new Firefly web app and clicked on the image tab, then chose Generative Fill. Using the Insert tool, I painted over this snowy scene and added a simple prompt to turn it into a warm beach view. Once I saved my new image, I took it further by using Firefly's new image-to-video workflow.
Okay, so great video again, very engaging. Lots of sound effects on that one, like clicks and swipes, which you can obviously add very easily in tools like CapCut as well. So nice to see the difference between the brand and also an influencer video on LinkedIn. And then finally, the LinkedIn content strategy lead has recently been sharing some considerations for any live events that you're running on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn Live is, of course, a fantastic way to promote your business. It gets a lot of attention within the LinkedIn dashboard. People are notified when you're going live. You can get some really good reach data on your live event as well. So when you are going to go live, scheduling your virtual events in advance and promoting your event is recommended. So promote your LinkedIn event organically. Schedule the event with ample time beforehand, and considering at least 2 to 4 weeks in advance is what LinkedIn is recommended. Also, they say using event ads can really help with a 19% engagement rate once the ads have gone live in terms of sign up to the event. So start your live event with experimentation. So begin with proven live event formats. So maybe you've been running events such as webinars, or maybe you've been doing live one-to-one chats or roundtables before. So if there's something that you've done before that you feel comfortable with, that's a great place to start with a live event. The event should last for around 15 minutes minimum to 4 hours maximum. That seems pretty excessive. They say marketers are advised to cap broadcasts after about an hour. So you can run a 4-hour event, live event on LinkedIn, but an hour is the kind of maximum length that LinkedIn does recommend. And they found that things that work really well include fireside chats, Q&As, product launches, live presentations, panel discussions, and also celebratory moments as well. So if you've got any milestones or hit anything huge lately, like a certain follower number, then that could certainly be something that you go live to celebrate. It also says, or the executive at LinkedIn also said that live events are less effective for multi-day events, private events, or exclusive ticketed large-scale conferences. So do bear that in mind. That's what they're less effective for. Focus on the experience from the attendees' perspective. So prioritize what your attendees are going to gain, understand the attendee experience before, during, and after the event, and also think about the notifications and email reminders that will be sent out to help your attendees find the live broadcast very easily. During the event, encourage your viewers to react and comment in real time, and also promote the fact that they can watch the recording if they missed it. Also, think about making your event memorable. So how can you create these memories, such as something that's going to be teased out to create curiosity, or providing information to secure interest? And also find ways to pull attendees into the action so that they're participating and not just viewing as well. And then strategy number 5 is to only focus on one objective at a time. So try to, for example, think about one KPI, such as gating an event for lead generation, where you're just gathering email addresses, or maybe you're running the event for pure brand awareness, so it's open to everyone. And thinking about whether you can repurpose content as well for added benefit. So some great tips there from LinkedIn. And if you haven't tried a live event on LinkedIn yet, then it is something that I would certainly recommend if it fits your business for 2025. Okay, so this one took us a little bit by surprise this week because Instagram finally launched its long-awaited editing app called Edits. This is an app which allows you to edit Reels specifically for Instagram. You can now record longer videos, shoot in 4K, and skip watermarks as well, meaning you can download content that can be reused and repurposed for other platforms. It has been met with quite mixed reviews. Some are saying it's brilliant, simple, and easy to use. It's got a very clean user experience, and you'll recognize a lot of the same functionality from within LinkedIn itself, but it does offer more than that. So the insights within the Edits app are really, really useful for Reels. You can also save ideas and make collections, collaborative collections. There's also a great inspiration feed. And also you can have lots of draft projects happening at the same time. So very useful for social media managers, plus it's completely free. But some are saying it's too basic and that it will never rival CapCut. CapCut is the OG of editing tools. So definitely one to go and have a play with and figure out whether it's something that you would like to use on an ongoing basis. So I downloaded it, I think yesterday. I haven't really had a chance to have a play around with it yet, but I'll certainly be reporting back on our upcoming updates. The other new feature which LinkedIn, Instagram has launched, Blend. So Blend is a new Instagram Reels sharing feature that has now been launched, although it's rolling out. We don't have it yet at Avocado Social, but it does allow you to create a shared feed of recommended Reels with a group of friends. This is in DMs. So again, it's more of this private, hidden social activity. The idea is that a group of friends can basically share Reels between each other, and then Blend will start to identify new Reels to recommend you to watch, which it thinks you're going to like based on your interests. So you'll be able to browse through Reels, which have been kind of suggested by the AI. And it basically means that you can experience different Reels in a very collaborative way with your friends. So something to be aware of. I think it's obviously more focused on personal users at the moment, but it's something that could potentially work for your brand if you have a strong community and you're looking to engage with a particular group of customers or a particular group of influencers in the future, and perhaps share reels in this kind of hidden chat with them. So if you see more information coming out about Blend or you get a notification, that's what Blend is all about. I mentioned that Canva has recently had a big conference where they've announced a ton of new updates, and some of those updates are really important for social media managers. The first being that they have now launched LinkedIn video templates. So you can now create LinkedIn ad creatives within Canva now. And you can publish them directly to your LinkedIn ads media library. It also, I think, means that we're seeing a push for more video content on LinkedIn organically too. So there's lots of options available for you in terms of all of the templates there. And lots of those templates give you some fresh ideas for perhaps featuring employees or featuring influencers as well. So do go and have a scroll through the new Canva LinkedIn videos. So again, another quote from an executive at LinkedIn: marketers can now choose from a selection of new LinkedIn video templates to create compelling video ads or design their own. Once the design is ready, the new LinkedIn Ads app for Canva means marketers can seamlessly export their assets directly into their LinkedIn Ads account for campaign creation and promotion. So a really interesting tie up there between Canva and LinkedIn. And definitely something that LinkedIn is looking to push more is video ads. The other update is if you work a lot with Canva and Google Sheets or Canva and Excel, you don't need to do things separately anymore. You can actually just use the new feature Canva Sheets. So Canva Sheets allows you to create loads of data in a spreadsheet and you can visualize that. You can use AI to help you create some amazing content calendars, graphs, performance charts. So a really nice way to present some of your metrics for your social media reports. And of course, using the AI magic charts, you can essentially just turn your data into really cool visuals. So some really nice ways for you to jazz up some of your charts and proposals there. And then the Canva AI as well. So we're seeing more and more of this Canva AI integrated into the tool. So you could actually ask Canva to create you things now, to use particular color palettes, to use your brand fonts. So you can see just some examples of that here. And you can also, just create some really, really fascinating and quite sophisticated PDFs, visuals as well. So that's called Canva Code. That is essentially working in a similar way to ChatGPT, where you offer a prompt. But of course, the more information you have in your Canva account, the better that is going to be. So I think that's really important to note that you do need to have quite a lot of information in your Canva account first, like your brand fonts, your brand colors, for it to be really effective. So there are a few more Canva updates that came out as well, which we didn't include, including the ability to have various different dimensions for a design in one file on Canva now. You don't have to have separate files for different formats like stories, reels, and posts. You can have those all in one, which I think is a really, really important update for social media managers too. Okay, so this was a test that we noticed is recently happening over the last couple of months, sorry, over the last couple of days. And Facebook is testing this out across their notifications. So you might spot one of these coming up, which is a sponsored notification. This is available as I said, in Facebook only at the moment, but could well come to other Meta platforms. It is a test, so it's not something that we think is necessarily going to stick around, but it's an ad notification. So users will see these ads labeled as sponsored alongside their usual notifications. And these ads will be targeted based on past engagement with ads and content. So this is another way for advertisers and marketers like ourselves to get noticed, to get traction, grab attention, and prompt consideration. But as a user, it might feel slightly invasive. It's like seeing those ads in your messenger as well, in your inbox. It might feel just a little bit crowded. So it's something that they're obviously going to test and see what kind of response they have. We ran a poll on our Instagram yesterday, and all of the respondents on the poll said that they didn't like this update, even marketers. So interesting to see whether this one will become a main feature of Meta ads. While we're talking about Meta ads, this one's hot off the press. It was only announced yesterday evening that after months of testing, Threads is now being launched to advertisers worldwide. So you'll be able to include Threads as a placement in your advertising campaigns. If you are using Advantage Plus, it will be on by default, or you can select it via manual placements. We checked this morning and it wasn't in any of our ad accounts. So it does look like it's going to be rolling out in selected markets. So you can see at the bottom there, it does say this will be rolled out as we continue to test and learn. But now Threads has over 320 million monthly active users. They feel that it is now a place where they can successfully run ads. So we'll begin to see how that's looking and we'll report back in due course. So if you haven't tried it yet, then I would encourage you to go and check out ChatGPT's new AI image creator. So we know that it has, of course, been a pretty crazy start to the launch of the ChatGPT image creator. According to Brad Lightcap, who oversees day-to-day operations and global deployment at OpenAI, over 130 million users generated more than 700 million images since the launch, which was on the 25th of March, and he shared this data on the 3rd of April. So it definitely was a very, very quick launch and something that took the world by storm. Of course, we were always going to see a bit of a trend that helped kickstart the launch, and the big trend, which involved using this new generative AI tool, was the action figure trend. So to create the miniature doll or action figure versions from uploaded photos and text prompts. So perhaps you had a go at this, perhaps you didn't. The trend gained significant traction on LinkedIn and Instagram. And we saw lots of kind of accessories being shared, like laptops and coffee cups. It has, of course, spread to other platforms too. If you haven't done this yet, I would not advise that you went forward with this trend. It definitely kind of had a moment for a week or so. I definitely think that the trend is over now. And of course, you do have that negative connotation when you do share a trend a little bit too late. There has been some negativity around the trend as well. So there were some concerns about the environmental impact due to the energy consumption of AI data centers. So there was a lot of people saying that the OpenAI ChatGPT servers were struggling to kind of cope with the surge of searches and prompts that were being developed, and how much energy this would consume for the data centers to maintain and create that energy. Also, the potential use of copyrighted data. So with people uploading their personal photos so that they can get more accurate doll faces, that's also something to bear in mind, is that privacy and copyright around anything that was uploaded, which of course is now kind of owned by ChatGPT unless you are using a pro account. And also the possibility of AI making assumptions about appearance as well. So I had quite a few people contact me saying, oh, my doll doesn't look anything like me. And of course, this does bring up some values and risks. The question of value and the risks associated with the trend as well. And there was an article in the BBC where a social media consultant had kind of said, is it worth it just for a few extra likes? So that's definitely something to always consider. But my personal opinion is I thought that the trend was a really great way just to showcase the capability of AI and to get people on board with understanding what's now possible. And also the fact that you do have to give fairly detailed, fairly descriptive prompts in order to get quality feedback from your AI tool. There are, of course, some other trends that are taking off as well. So something to be aware of is the fact that ChatGPT can identify locations from images as well. So this was an example where someone uploaded a random photo and the AI knew within 20 seconds where the picture of the photo was taken. The models can deduce cities, landmarks, restaurants, and bars from visual clues when paired with their web searching ability. So this is something just to be aware of course, for privacy concerns. It could potentially be used by bad actors, and also just means that generally your online safety could be at risk. So I wanted just to flag this one because, of course, we do just need to continue to be safe with what content we are uploading to AI and social media generally. So OpenAI o3 and o4 Mini bring visual reasoning to ChatGPT, making it more helpful in areas like accessibility research or identifying locations in emergency response. We've worked to train our models to refuse requests for private or sensitive information, added safeguards intended to prohibit the model from identifying private individuals in images, and actively monitor for and take action against the abuse of our usage policies on privacy. So that was an AI spokesperson, an OpenAI spokesperson via TechCrunch. But of course, I think always just being aware of that is important with how you are utilizing AI. Okay, let's have a look at some of the latest Bluesky features then, because Bluesky has just introduced a brand new layer of verification, which is the blue tick. So at the moment, they are just starting to roll this out. There's a couple of different profiles to be aware of. We've, of course, first of all got the Bluesky domain, which is where domain handles can be linked to your website, which basically means that you can have this extra layer of verification that you are who you say you are by connecting information from your website to your Bluesky account. And there are over 270,000 people who have done this on Bluesky now. They continue to be an important part of verification at Bluesky, but Bluesky did have feedback that they needed a bit of a larger visual signal to understand which accounts are authentic from users. So they've begun to roll out the blue check. So they will be proactively verifying authentic and notable accounts by displaying a blue check next to their names. Additionally, they are rolling out trusted verifiers. These are independent organizations that have the ability to verify accounts directly. And Bluesky is also going to be reviewing these verifications as well to ensure authenticity. So here's a bit of a difference between all of the different verified accounts. First of all, we've got the Bluesky CEO, Jay, who has a verified Bluesky account with a blue tick. In the middle, we've got a trusted verifier. This is an independent organization, in this case, the New York Times, who can now issue blue checks to its journalists in the app. And on the far right, we've got a screenshot here of the Bluesky moderation process as well, where you can see that a trusted organization has given somebody the blue check, and they've been verified by a trusted source. So that is an individual user called Paul Fruzzy, who has been verified by Bluesky. So it does seem like a robust process, certainly much more than back in the day when you used to have to contact Twitter and ask for a blue tick, and they may or may not give you one. So this tidying up of the blue tick verification process is a great update, I think. Bluesky has also been very busy revamping their Explore page, showing their trends, suggested accounts, and starter packs. So it's now really easy to spot trends, which are labeled as hot or new. And also you can explore different interests, follow starter packs, which are bunches of people that have been put together, almost like Twitter lists. And also you can discover feeds, which again have been put together by different users. So really easy ways just to kind of get started by following lots of relevant people around specific topics on Bluesky. WhatsApp has also been busy launching some new features this month, and we're seeing some more enhancements over how WhatsApp business chats can manage and control their inboxes. So users now have the option to block and report a business that they're chatting with at any point. WhatsApp now offers tools for users to share feedback on messages that they receive from businesses by saying they're interested or not interested. And then the WhatsApp Business app is now introducing business broadcasts, which will be a paid feature, which will enable you to send out thoughtful communication to a large number of users. So if you're interested in learning more about the options available for WhatsApp for Business, there's plenty of information in the latest blog post on the Facebook News website. But just really interesting to see that they are beginning to put a few limits on the number of marketing messages that users can receive from businesses to minimize inbox overload as well. So if you are active on WhatsApp as a business, I think it's worth just keeping an eye on some of the latest updates happening there. So we also thought this was an interesting report to touch on this month, which is the latest consumer expectations of brands in social media in 2025. So this is a report called Social Pulse, which was put together by a company called Amplify, and they were looking at questionnaire responses from over 1,000 US social media users who've shared their perspective on what they expect from brands, what they use social media for, and how they can be reached. So the first finding is that the top 3 reasons that consumers cited for following a brand account was for news about promotions, sales, and discounts, entertainment, and learning more about new products and product updates. So I think that's really interesting to bear in mind that, of course, if you have any discounts or promotions, that is a key factor for driving purchases. And also, what we found out was that consumers definitely have an expectation that brands will be responsive online and will actively and promptly engage with interested customers. Also, it's recommended here that you reply to all your followers and comments on posts where your brand is mentioned, even if it's not on your page. So social listening does have to be a key element to your social media strategies. Celebs don't drive conversions, real people do. So just 14% of people say that celebs influence them, while 65% of people say that UGC does. So encouraging more people in your content, more reviews, more videos in shoppable posts to build trust. And discounts drive sales. So prioritizing sharing deals and offers over chasing trends and memes. The other thing that they shared, which we thought was really interesting, was the fact that a significant portion of consumers, 32% of their questionnaire survey, expected a DM response within 1 hour. So brands need to set realistic consumer expectations regarding their response times and ensure they are responding within those stated times. So 23% expect a text response within 6 hours. So definitely utilize some of those automated responses, and also being visible and responsive and proactive, not just reactive to complaints, but also to positive content as well, is really important. So making sure that you are acting fast, making it easy for people to contact you. 40% of consumers still like to pick up the phone. And also using AI to triage. So you could do a bot auto response to a DM, but always follow up with human. So treat it like a core support channel. So if you are thinking about your customer experience and improving your support, then this report, which my colleague Sarah has just shared in the chat, is definitely worth downloading and taking a look at.